Hi, I'm Phyllis from the Doll Corner and welcome back. This is the third video in a series, and what I did was I took this doll and decided I was going to dress her. And so I showed in my first video how to get my pattern to fit this doll, because as we all know, all dolls are not the same, and you can get a pattern for a 14-inch doll, and you could have 5 patterns and they probably wouldn't fit totally. But if you have a good guide, this pattern that I have for my 14-inch, when I took it out of my book, and it was about a 1/4 of an inch too short, so I didn't really have a seam allowance, so I added a seam allowance. And then when I go to make my petticoat from this same pattern, I will make the neckline a little bit lower. I'll use this pattern for my dress, but I'll use it for the petticoat. I'll make it a little bit bigger, the neckline and at the shoulder, so it doesn't show above my dress, the neckline. And be sure and check my book out, because it's on sale until the end of June, and then it goes back to the regular price, so it's $5 off. So if you're interested, be sure and check my Etsy shop. So to get this little petticoat on the way, as I mentioned before, I trimmed the neckline about a 1/4 of an inch larger, like that, both back and front. And the arms, I make them, the shoulder, a little smaller as well. So that's how I do that. And then let's see, and then I made this. I have one here somewhere, maybe on my feet. I sewed the shoulder seams, and then I I serged around the neck and the sleeves. Oh, here we are. I knew I didn't put it too far away. And then I sewed up the back, made a seam along the back edge for where it will be closed, opened and closed. And then I sewed up a side seam, and just like this, I'll line my underarm seam and sew that. And that's the top of my petticoat. And now, so that's really easy to do. Once you get the pattern that fits it perfectly, then it's not hard to. And for the gathering, this is a piece, but I sewed my lace on, and I showed you in my last video how I did that. I put right sides together, sew along, and then fold it down and top stitch it along here. Now you could put a ruffle if you had a real full dress that you wanted the dress to really sit out. Then put a row of gatherers along here, sort of like this. But this is actually too big for this little doll, so, but you get the idea. And then run a gathering stitch. And how I make my gathering stitches is I put my let's just start here. I'll just run it down the back here just as an example. I put my foot feed right along the edge of my fabric, and I have my needle to the left, and then I set my seam length, seam length to 5, and I sew that down just like that, trying to keep it I kind of hold it so it doesn't pucker up too much, and leave a fair length of a thread. So you can see I got one row down here, and then I put my pressure foot on the same line, only I move my needle over to the right about 3 or 4 . And then I sew my, and see I've got 2 rows of stitches there. I don't know if you can see them. And then I pull those snug, just like that. And I try to sew in between, and that gives me a nice even gather. And then when I go to put it on my skirt, or my bodice, I find the center mark, and it goes right here. And my side seams go to the quarter mark, and the outside go to the edge. But I have already done that on, let's see. So this one, I have got it all sewn on. And then I serge the edge. And if you want to put a label in, now's the time to do it. And I have this edge hemmed that, and I hemmed on this side. Now you could, it depends on the size of your doll, just overlap this like this and tack it. Or you can make a seam up to wherever you want. Some of the small dolls, I'll just leave it open. It's easier to get it on and off sometimes. So it's just any way you would like it. This one, I have the Velcro on it. I put the Velcro, the rough side threads that I haven't clipped. I put the rough side of the Velcro here because if a child is playing with it, it's not as apt to get scraped, and the soft side here. But if I was putting it on a child's dress, I would do the opposite because this could rub their skin. And now we'll slip it on. And that's just how easy it is to make a little petticoat. Once you get the pattern that fits, and sometimes when you do get the pattern, you think, oh, that's right on, but it can be a little bit off. You haven't wasted that much material, so you can start over again. And there's your little petticoat. So I want to thank all my new subscribers, and I want to thank my old subscribers, or the ones that have been with me for quite a while. I want to thank you for watching this, and be sure and give me a thumbs up. And I'll be back to make her little dress in the next video. And thanks for watching. Bye now.